Me tiene loco en la cabeza cuando me tocas. Siento que todo está bien, pero en verdad yo no sé si tú lo sientes también. Entonces quiero saber por qué desde que te vi yo vivo diferente. No me importa a mí lo que dice la gente, porque tú siempre la prendes candela. Te quiero a mi lado toda la vida, mi nena. La mano pegada y los pies en la arena. Pase lo que pase, baby, vale la pena. Ay, baby, yo te quiero. Es mentira todo lo que te dijeron. Sabes que mi amor por ti es verdadero. Yo te soy fiel, nena, yo te soy sincero. Juro que yo hago de todo pa' ti. Como rábame todo de ti. Y yo te doy todo de mí. Hay mujeres de todo pa' mí. Juro que yo hago de todo pa' ti. Como rábame todo de ti. Y yo te doy todo de mí. Hay mujeres de todo pa' mí. Desde que te vi yo vivo diferente. No me importa a mí lo que dice la gente, porque tú siempre la prendes candela. Te quiero a mi lado toda la vida, mi nena. La mano pegada y los pies en la arena. Pase lo que pase, baby, vale la pena. Yo no sé cómo lo hace, baby, déjame ser el que te complace. En mi mente corriendo base, me quedo contigo, pase lo que pase. Baby, espero que me ames, me tiene volando en el cielo como las aves. Ey, en el Pambinanes, todo un sueño el debo ya lo sabe. Juro que yo hago de todo pa' ti, como rábame todo de ti. Y yo te doy todo de mí, hay mujeres de todo pa' mí. Nena loca, me tiene loco en la cabeza cuando me tocas. Siento que todo está bien, pero en verdad yo no sé si tú...
I'm the only one who Saludos programas and welcome to the July 31st CMLL Los Lobos de Lucha. I am el buntador número dos. And here with me, as always, is mi amigo, mi compadre, mi hermano de lucha, Will Papa Oso. Papa Oso, how are you?
I'm doing great. Sorry, I had to get my mute turned off. I was like,
that is okay. I love this whole new look we got going. This is great. We're looking fresh. We're looking like we know what we're talking about, which is important. So let me get some quick housekeeping out of the way, as Mikey would like to call it, which Mikey, by the way, unfortunately, he is not joining us tonight. We wish him good luck on his climbing of Mount Everest.
Sure, why not?
Anyway, so BC WrestlePod, please, if you like what you listen to, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, do all the social media things. You can also find us on NX Connect at BC WrestlePod over NX Connect. The crew over there, very cool, very helpful, building a nice wrestling community over there. So that's cool. And housekeeping, other housekeeping. Papa, do we have anything else going on?
Not that I can think of.
Like, okay.
Okay. Really.
Sounds good to me. So let's get right into it. So we on today's show we are going to cover the July 26th Viernes Espectacular, and then the last night's Arena Mexico Tuesday show. So we're going to get right into the July 26th Viernes Espectacular. The show opened up with the Amazonas of CMLL, the female wrestling league, and we had a relevo australiano de uno caída, a relevo australiano for one fall, which on the Rudas side, or the heels, the Rudas as it's called in CMLL, we had Valkyria, Hera, who was your captain, and Olympia, versus the Técnicas, or the faces, as they're in Lucha Libre, the Técnicas, the team of Nautica, Kira, who is your captain, and Scotty. It was a great opening match, as always. A lot of hard hits. The Técnicas end up with the win on this one. Will, what are your thoughts on this beginning match?
Okay, well, I thought it was a pretty good opener. Olympia, she is a powerhouse. My God, she's a powerhouse. She actually reminds me a lot of Jordan Grace.
Yes.
Just in her stature and the way she does, the way she holds herself, the way she does, her kind of poses. I'm like, it really reminds me of Jordan Grace. I thought Scotty gave I don't know who she did when she jumped in that corner. I can't remember who she was hitting, but she gave her all that junk.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, I felt bad for Nautica there for a while because she was just getting her rear end tore up.
Yep.
But I thought that last fly off the top rope by Kira was awesome. Man, again, the women's stuff is always going to be my favorite. I've got like pages and pages of notes that I've gotten. Smart.
That's why I wanted to ask what you thought about the first match, because I know you love the women's matches. I love the women's matches too. So.
I love, and I've mentioned it and I've said it before and I'll probably say it 1,000 times again, is that the women just, man, they bring it.
They do.
They just bring it. I've never.
They really do.
Again, the men are good and they bring it too, but they're so much prettier in their style. The women are just like tearing their hair out, and which is great, and I love.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a pretty decent opener. I thought, and I'm getting a little bit better at figuring out who the Rudos is and who the Technicos is. Because I got this one right. I think I may have got some of the other ones wrong, but I got this one right.
Then they throw the occasional curveball in there, but you know, it's as long as you get the basics, you're good. I was going to ask this question a little later on, but I'm just going to go ahead and ask it now. Here on the BC WrestlePod, we do often comment about how our your main wrestling promotions, how the women's division is quite often underused. The stories aren't well fleshed. The matches are small. Now here in CMLL, we get at least one women's match a show. However, it seems that women's match, they let it run for as long as it needs to run. It's not just like a, dare I say, 8-minute filler. They let it run. Do you feel that that this is a more fair presentation of a women's division, or do you think that CMLL, that they should throw more women's matches in their cards? You are on mute. We're gonna make that a short.
Sorry,
just the two of us sitting here.
Yeah, I know. What I would say is, one thing I have noticed is that the women's division here is equal to the men's division, in weight. Not necessarily, in American wrestling, the women's division is sort of not, unless it's like a main event. And even then, sometimes it goes pretty short. But in these, they go. Now, I mean, as we cover both of these, we will see, because in the second one, there's a whole lot of women going on. But in this one, I think this is the only women's match in this one, right?
In the Friday, yep.
That's what I thought, and I couldn't remember. So I think they treat their women's division better here.
Okay.
And I also think that they don't put restrictions on them. They're like, show out, girls. It's like show out. And we don't really get that here in the States. I think they tend to put limitations on them. I mean, we kind of saw it with Stephanie coming in.
Yes.
It's like, oh, okay. I've seen you do a lot more showing out back at CMLL than I saw you here doing what you're doing here. So, I mean, I don't know what that is. I'm not 100% up on the legal aspects of American wrestling. Like, oh, you can't do that because you could actually hurt someone, or it's just like, we don't want you to show up all of the current talent. I don't know what it is. But here, I think the women are showcased. They are not just, okay, all right, ladies, you've got 5 minutes. I need you to finish this up. It's like, it runs until it's done. And, I like that. And I like that a lot.
Cool. Okay. Yep. Awesome. So moving on to our next match, we have on your Rudos side, Magia Blanca, Magnus, and Rugido. Versus on your technical side, Max Star, Futuro, and Hombre Bala Jr. Hombre Bala Jr. is your captain for the technicals. Rugido is your captain for the Rudos side. This is a Relevo Australiano, best 2 out of 3 fall. This is another great match. Hombre Bala Jr., man, he's the one with the multicolored mask. Wow. They just he's just so impressive when he gets out there. And Magnus, it was nice seeing Magnus because we just saw him over in Fantastica Mania, and he's been doing some US things. But your Technicals do end up winning this match. They win the best 2 out of 3. Anything about this? You got anything about this match, Will?
Let me think. I'm looking through my notes.
Yeah.
I love the Brawn versus Speed in this
Yep.
one because it was very much like bulk and then not so much. And I really liked that. I also liked there was a lot of air in the second card during the second one. There was a lot more air style than in the first one, which I really like. I love it when they do the high fly stuff. I love that stuff when they're like launching each other off the ropes and I love that. I thought that let me see. Overall, I really like this match. I will say it's really funny, and I'll just comment on this just this time because it's interesting because it's Australian rules, right? Isn't that what this is?
Australian rules,
yeah, quote unquote. And it's so different than what we do in America. And so when the first card was done, I was thinking, okay, well that's the end of it, And I was like, oh wait, no, there's 2 more. I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting that there's 2 more.
Yeah.
And which is great, and I love that. So I'm just it's really neat. So for anyone who's watching us who has never watched this style of wrestling, you really need to watch it. It's really cool.
It is.
I love the best 2 out of 3. And it just gives us a chance to really kind of look at the wrestlers and their techniques and and also sort of seeing the dynamics between the good guys and the bad guys, and even in the inner ranks of like the Rudos, because there's a couple of times where they were kind of like going at each other too.
Yes, there.
So it's really neat to kind of see that sort of dynamic. But I love all these guys. I thought all these guys were great. I mean, Magnus was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a big beefy guy. But I also love Futuro. I like him because he's so charismatic. He's just so great. I mean, he has such great energy.
He does. Yeah.
But yeah, I really, and I did, Hombre Bala Jr. was fantastic. I'd never seen him before. This was my first time seeing him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never seen. I've seen Magnus and Futura and Max Star and Urugido. Magia Blanca I have not seen, and Hombre Bala Jr. I had not seen before. But Bala Jr. was fantastic. He was. Every time he was in the ring, I was like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of those that when he gets in the ring, like, every all the luchadors are like this, but like when Hombre Bala Jr. gets in, he's like this. It's crazy. So, and I would be neglect to point out that in this match, coming out with Futuro was Mihei. So, gotta give props to Mihei. So, yep, like I said, the Technicals do end up with the win in this match, which brings us to our third match of the night, which was just chaos. I had some problems trying to figure out what was going on in this match. So this was, for lack of a better term, a grudge match where you had Euphoria and Esfinge, who are actually enemies, right? And Euphoria is a rudo, and Esfinge is a technical. But they're on one team versus Valiante and Hechicero. And Valiante is supposedly a technical, and Hechicero is a rudo. And what makes it even more interesting, I did a little digging, is that Hechicero and Valiante, their their rivalry goes back at least 15 years. At least 15 years.
I could tell.
Yeah.
Because there was.
Yeah, they just. Yeah. Yeah. And these guys got into the ring. I don't think the announcer even got to say, what it was. I believe it was a relevo sencillo, where it was one pinfall. But these guys just went at each other. They were tearing each other's masks. That's how you could tell that this was just a all out grudge match. No one walked out of this match with their masks intact.
Yeah.
Valiente, the team of Valiente and Hechicero won.
Okay, I wasn't sure who won.
Right, exactly. So the reason they won is because I believe Valiente got his mask pulled off by Esfinge, and and since it's technically not a mascara for mascara match, that caused the disqualification. However, Esfinge somehow lost his boot, and in the end, Valiente challenges Hechicero for a mask match, and you still have Euphoria and Esfinge. They're going to have a mask for match, and this is all going to be happening in September on the 91st anniversary show. But that was the clearest thing that I got from this match. And I'm not, by all means, the chaos did not make it bad.
No,
this
not
was
at all.
Super entertaining, super fun to watch.
I mean,
it just keeping up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree. I just simply have one of my notes in here is this is a messy match in a good way.
Yep.
It was, but I really was like, who won? I wasn't sure who won. It's like I usually, when I'm writing my notes, I highlight the winner, and I would literally put a note going, who won? Question mark? Because I wasn't really sure. I figured that Valiente, and I figured they won because of disqualification. I figured because I knew it wasn't a mask for a mask match. So And when the mask came off, I was like, okay. And I saw the referee do a thing.
Yeah,
so I was thinking, so I was like, okay, so they won, but I wasn't sure. I just wasn't sure. So I was like, okay, but man, Valiente does not play around. He was kicking Esfinge around, man. I just it was crazy. This was a insanely chaotic match. I mean, it was there. I had a hard time remembering who was who because they were so intertangled with each other. I was like, wait, who is that fighting? Wait a minute, wait. So I had to go back a couple of times and rewatch. But but I mean, I never would have known that Esfinge was a Técnico.
Yep.
I never would have guessed that in this match. Never. I actually thought they were all rudos, to be quite honest, because the way they were all just sort of like ripping at each other. I was like, there's no way any of these are good. These are good guys. But you say they are, and I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah.
It blew me away. I just, man, and it's Hechicero. God, he was crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, I saw that he and Valiente were really going at each other. So I kind of figured there was some beef there.
Yep.
And
old beef, some old beef.
Apparently so. And I'm like, wow, I did not even know. I said absolute chaos, confused, but I absolutely loved every minute of it.
Yeah, this match was definitely like when you go down to your local sandwich shop or deli, and they have that like special sandwich, which like you get it and it's just a mess, but when you bite into it, it's delicious. So good.
Yeah,
it's so delicious. That's what this match was. It was fantastic. I'm excited to see. We will see more of Valiente and Hechicero on the Tuesday show, but we will save for that. Can't wait to see the culmination of these in the mask versus mask
right, yeah,
stuff. So this then brings us to the final of the Torneo Leyenda de Plata, which pitted Angel de Oro against Star Jr. And Angel de Oro wins by submission and is your 2024 Torneo Leyenda de Plata winner. This right here is a picture of Angel de Oro holding up the plaque with the silver mask on it. What'd you think, Mike? What'd you think, Papa?
Well, I'm so not used to seeing one-on-one matches.
Right.
So this kind of blew me away at first because I'm always used to they're like, oh, they announce someone, then they announce someone, then they announce someone, then they announce someone. So when they were like, they announced someone, and then all of a sudden we were going, I was like, oh wait, this is a 2-man. Oh, okay. So I had to kind of rearrange my head for a moment, but I thought that this was a great match. I mean, it was, and I don't know either of these wrestlers. I've never seen either of these wrestlers wrestle. And I Star Jr., man, when he put that foot in Oro's face, right when they were on the apron there, I mean, it looked like it hurt.
Yes.
Because he came sliding through and just like, oh my gosh. Then I saw Oro take his hair down and I was like, uh-oh. I think it's on. They were flying all over the place.
Yep.
But you could tell towards the end, they were wearing each other out.
Yes.
Because there was moments where you could physically see them kind of like, oh geez.
Yeah.
Ooh, is this over yet? It's like
yeah. It's funny, like, having said that, I am surprised for as fast, if you will, that Star Jr. tapped out, giving Angel de Oro the win. For a few minutes, I thought maybe the ref had messed something up, and like maybe Star didn't really like tap out or whatnot. But it just it seemed like Angel de Oro just got that. I don't even know what it's called. It's just like that hanging cradle.
Yeah, I don't know
submission
what
move.
Either. That was crazy though.
Yeah, but Star Jr. tapped out really fast, and that's your winner, Angel de Oro. I do have a note that I missed that you could tell that this was a big show, a big Friday night, because not only were the pyrotechnics in effect, but they brought back the drone cam.
The drone cam.
Drone cam was back. So
I know that was really neat. That was also an interesting difference between this one and the Tuesday show, because I noticed they didn't have them there, but I love the drone cams, man. Those are great.
Yeah,
such a great perspective.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope that either AEW or Ring of Honor, or one of those,
they really should get on board with that.
That they borrow that, because it's just it's fun, and it gives you some cool like flybys, especially when they do the whole like coming around. It's very cinematic. So Angel de Oro, he's your 2024 Torneo Leyenda de Plata champion, which brings us to our penultimate match of the night, where we saw Rocky Romero, Ultimo Guerrero, versus Rocky Romero and Ultimo Guerrero are your rudos in this match, versus Templario, who technically is a rudo, and Titan. The funny thing with Templario is 2 weeks ago, I believe, he actually stated his intentions to leave the rudos and become a technical. So coming out with Templario was Kemalito, the little red devil with the Templario's belt. This was a Relevo Sencillo, best 2 out of 3. Really, another really fun match. You had a lot of. I really enjoy the mix-up of submissions and pinfalls that you see in these matches, because it switching over to like watching WWE or AEW, it seems like submission holds are like few and in between, you know what I mean? Whereas here you just like, it's a move in the toolbox that they go to and that they use, in the second pinfall when Templario, at the end where you had Rocky eliminating Titan, and then Templario eliminating Rocky Romero, and then it was Templario and Ultimo Guerrero, which again you had the student versus the master, or the teacher, I should say, and Templario put Ultimo Guerrero in that submission hold and made him tap out. I thought it was beautiful. I enjoy submission holds. So, what do you think, Papa?
I liked it. I thought this was probably one of my matches of the evening, because I love Rocky Romero, and it's so funny because I didn't know who the Rudos were and who the Technicos were, so I didn't label these the reason I didn't is because of the Templario. Because I was like, wait a minute. Because I was like, I knew Titan is a Technico, and then they said the Templario, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, crap. Well, maybe they're the Rudos. And I was like, wait, and I thought, well, maybe Ultimo Guerrero is a Technico, is it? And I literally was like, I so doubted myself to a point where I was like, I'm not going to label anybody until we get to the review. So okay, that's good to know. But I loved in the second card, I love that at the end that it looked like a cartwheel somersault.
Yes.
Into the ring. Man, that was the coolest move.
Yes.
This is what I love about this. This is as lucha in general, is that there's so many really cool moves that happen. Yeah. And I tried to make note of as many as I could remember, but that one was just badass.
Yeah, and also the mat setup with that runway right there, like I have seen so many luchadors, like Mystical, when he'll do a running move off that ramp and jumping over, and we'll do like a 450 or something like that. And sweet. It's so pretty when they do it, and it's very exciting. So then this brings us to our main event, which I was super hyped for. I personally think that this main event, did not disappoint.
Good.
Yeah,
oh my God, this was my match of the night.
Yeah, you had Death Triangle, the Bastard Pac, Rey Fénix, and Penta Cero Miedo versus Máscara Dorada, Volador Jr., and Místico. Now, we do have to do a little bit of housekeeping before we talk about this match, because Pac, so Death Triangle, CMLL, the CMLL announcers, they called Pac just Pac, right? Rey Fénix, they called him King.
Right. Okay, that's where I was confused.
Yep. And Penta Cero Miedo, they called him Lucha Bro.
Right. Okay.
And the reason why they did this is because, at least this is the hardline thought right now. Nothing official has come out, but the other wrestling promotion that operates in Mexico, AAA, they own the copyrights to Bastard and any variations of Bastard. They own the rights for Rey and any variations of Rey, and they own the rights to Pentagon and any variations of Pentagon, because when Penta wrestle in AAA. And please, those in the audience, if you know better, please correct me. Just be nice. But Rey Penta Cero Miedo was in AAA years ago, but he went by the name of Pentagon Jr. So AAA still owns the rights to those names and the variations of those names. So as to not get into any hot water, CMLL put on these other names to them. But if you watch AEW, you know who they were, and I mean, Penta was doing his Cero Miedo thing just like the whole time. So this match was fantastic. I felt this was the first match in a long time that Penta, or Lucha Bro, if you will, that he was actually wrestling hard. Because the last few times I've seen him in the AEW, it just felt like he's kind of been holding back. But this one, he was out there. Rey Fénix, he went for it. Pac felt a little bit like he was the dare I say odd man out, but he still had his spots to shine, and then of course Volador Jr., Máscara Dorada, and Mystico, they are just always fantastic. The Death Triangle does end up with the win in this match, but the reason I apologize. No. Death Triangle did not get the win because Pac, él fue loco. Ay, Pac está loco. Because he started pulling the masks off.
Oh my God.
Mystico, Máscara Dorada.
Everybody.
So Death Triangle actually ended up getting disqualified, giving Máscara Dorada, Volador Jr., and Mystico the win. However, I felt like the audience was really behind Death Triangle.
I felt the exact same thing.
Yeah,
because I was curious, because I was like, oh wow, they're taking they're ripping masks off, which I know most of the times they're like, boo, they're like totally down, but all of a sudden they were just like, I mean, this was a night for the bad guys, dude. I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, Lucha Bro, I love him.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he reminds me of Ronan the Accuser from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, with the way
with the whole look and everything. Yep. I was like, oh my God, it's like Ronan. And so I was like, it's like the ultimate bad guy. And I was like, this is great. And he and Mystico. Oof, yes. Wow, they were just.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh my God, because he's the one that actually took Mystico's mask.
He did.
When they were down on the floor, he went over and just ripped it off. But Pac was just ripping everybody's off. He was just like, I don't care. He's like swinging them around. And I was just like, this match was badassery at its best.
Yes. It was very good, very entertaining. If you have the ability, search on YouTube for Death Triangle versus Mystico, Volador Jr., and Máscara Dorada, and you will not be disappointed. This was a great main event. Dare I say it might be one of the ones that I revisit for match of the year. For my match of the year,
I would probably agree with you. Actually, this was super entertaining to watch. In all aspects, technique, just showmanship, just the idea of rivalry, the idea of good versus evil. I mean, it was like it had everything. Plus, it had the high flying, and it had the speed and the brawn, and it literally had everything that I think makes up what I know so far that makes up the luchador wrestling is it was all mixed into this one match, and I thought it was so well done. This was like the my absolute match of the night, and I agree with you. This is probably on my list for sure.
Even in the beginning, when the CMLL team was called out, they actually the ring announcer asked that everyone in the entirety of the Arena Mexico turn their cell phone
their lights on,
and they shut all the house lights off, and they had the CMLL team come out, and everyone had their lights on. It was very dramatic. It was great. I loved it. So and not that there wasn't more CMLL action this week. There was a regular Saturday shows, there was your Sunday show, there was the Monday show. There was just a lot going on. So the only other show that we really got to watch was the Tuesday Arena Mexico, Martes de Arena Mexico, which aired last night. I do really quick want to just give the shout out that on September 13th is the 91st anniversary show for CMLL, and we're gonna have a lot of cool stuff on that show. We're gonna have all those mascot for mask matches and whatnot. So our first match of the Martes de Arena Mexico from last night was Inquisidor versus Valiente Jr., who is the son of Valiente. I checked that. And this was a match relámpago. So it was a lightning match, 10 minutes, with one fall. I enjoyed it until the end.
Yeah.
Because, and I have it written down here, for 9 minutes and 13 seconds, Inquisidor beat the crap out of Valiente Jr.
Yep.
And all Valiente Jr. did was I think it was a power bomb or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he flipped the Inquisidor over for the 1-2-3,
Yep.
And the ending to me felt very lackluster.
I agree. It felt wrong.
Yeah.
I literally felt like Inquisidor. I thought he was cheated, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Because I was like, he wrestled his ass off. And I mean, and I'm not just talking, I mean, he was he was doing his job. And I feel that he got cheated.
Yes.
Like it didn't pay off for him. It's like,
yeah.
And I'm just
he put in 9 minutes worth of work.
Yeah. And I mean, Valiente Jr., I mean, he basically was just a rag. I mean, he was, and I have to say, this is something that bugs me with American wrestling too, is this thing that happens where it's like this, you have a wrestler who comes into the ring and is wrestling and is doing his job. And you're like, yes, and I was behind Inquisidor the whole time. And I was like, look at you go, man. I was like, yeah, you got it. And then they pull that at the end.
Yeah.
And American wrestling does it too. I mean, they absolutely do it too. And it drives me insane. Like, how in the world did Valiente Jr. go 9 minutes and whatever, not get hardly any near pinfall,
right? Yeah,
and then all of a sudden at the end he just rolls around and wins, and I was just like, I don't understand that at all. Now I would understand it if Valiente Jr. had done something drastic, like truly, like just like knocked Inquisidor out, like did a blow, got a lucky blow, whatever, but that's not what happened at all. It was literally like Inquisidor was doing this thing, and then he just turned around and just there it was. And I was like, I literally was like, my jaw dropped when I watched it. I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
I agree with you. I liked it up to that point. And then I was extremely disappointed. I was a little pissed off, actually. I was not gonna lie. I was a little pissed off.
Yeah. So Valiente Jr. is your winner for the match Relámpago. Next, we had a Relevo Australiano, best 2 out of 3 pinfalls, where we saw on the Rudo side, Okamura with Mihei coming out, Raider and Dark Magic, who is your captain, versus Arcalis, Pegaso, and your captain Stigma. This was I feel like this match made up for the other match. Our technical team did end up with the win. But yeah, I felt like this match was a lot better.
Oh yeah.
And that the Technicos win was a lot more deserved than the first match.
Yeah. I think that if this match happened first and that other match didn't happen at all, I think it would have been great. Because I agree. The more and more I watch it, the more and more I watch him, the more and more I absolutely love Okamura. I love him because he is such, and this is going to sound sappy, but I think he is such an inspiration for people of age.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, truly. I mean, he's out there and he is still doing it. And I mean, we have some of those folks here in America too that are like up in the age where you would think, why are you still doing this? But I just, every time he gives it his all. I mean, he does the flies, he does everything. And I was just, this is probably the match I took the most notes on because I enjoyed it the most.
Okay.
For the most, truly, I really did. Raider is brutal.
He is.
He's great. I was actually rooting for the Rudos in this one. I really was, because I loved all 3 of them. And I was like, not that I didn't like the Technicos, but man, Okamura, Raider, and Dark Magic, man, they were just. I thought they were so together. They were and they were dialed with one another, and it was just so neat to watch them.
Yeah, and I thoroughly enjoy Dark Magic when he first comes in. He's wearing the hat with the suit and everything, and then he takes it all off, and it's like a homage to Apollo Creed. From Rocky 2, with the Star Spangled briefs and the Star Spangled boots and everything. I'm surprised. I have to look in. I got to look in and do some research, but I'm surprised that he hasn't made any headway into any U.S. scene, because Dark Magic, he's a good wrestler. He's a really good wrestler. I'm kind of
surprised too. I mean, the funny thing is when I first saw him, I thought he was an American wrestler that was at CMLL.
Right. Yeah, but but it's like the other way around. It's weird.
Yeah, I know. I think, and that just comes down to look. I mean, he had the look of sort of what a stereotypical American wrestler would look like, which again, that makes sense because of the character he's created. But I was like, is he? I had to look him up. I literally had to Google search him because I was like, wait, is he an American? I mean, is he someone from WWE that I'm just not aware of? And
right?
No, not at all. I was like, wow, okay, all right. There were some great moves in this one.
There were.
I do love that they used Mihei.
Yes,
that was so fun. That was fun. That was super
and then
fun.
The ref comes over and Mihei's like, "Oh,
This match had a ton of rope work. Man, they were working those ropes. There was one move. Let me see if I can find it. It was Pegaso. Is it Pegaso? Pegaso. He pulled it on Raider. It was a bounce off and a double flip.
Yes.
That was the badassest move I've ever seen. It was like my move of the night. I was like, holy crap, that was I literally rewound it like 3 times to watch it. I was like, how did he? I was like trying to figure it out. I was like, oh my gosh. But when there was so much great rope work in this.
Yeah.
If this,
and it amazes me how they just pop right up after they hit it. They pop right up.
And then they're not, and for those out there in the audience and those who have never watched, they're not like landing on that mat softly. They are hitting that mat.
Yes.
And they just pop right back up. And like Okamura was doing it. He was like, bam. And he would just like roll up. And I'm like, holy crap, dude. One of the great things, this is another sort of generalized, this kind of covers both events, and this is what I love about this world of wrestling, is that the ring itself is like an active participant.
Yes. Very much so.
In American wrestling, the ring is an ornamental thing. It's just where we do our thing. But in this world, the ring is like a member of the company. It's like, it is so organic.
Yep.
And they use it as if it's another part of themselves. It's not a foreign action that they're doing. It's like, it feels so natural. And I was just noticing it tonight when I was watching these two. I was just like, man, the ring is like an active participant. It's not just a thing. It is literally like an extension of the wrestlers themselves.
Yes.
And that blows my mind. It literally just blew my mind. I had a moment tonight, actually, when I was watching the Tuesday show. I was like, oh my God. And it was in this match. This is the match where I was like, God, the ring is like part of them. And,
so much so. You see, I have seen more wrestlers just second naturally utilizing the ropes, be it for submission, be it for ways to get out, be it however, but they use the ropes, the turnbuckle, the hardest part of the ring, the ring corners and whatnot, like they use all of that as and just as if it was, like you said, their fist or their arm or their leg. And it's definitely I definitely enjoy it quite a bit. So but yep, so your technicals were your winners in this match, which then brought us to Gran Guerrero and Valiente, who are your rudos. Actually, no, I apologize. This was a rudos, quote unquote, rudos versus rudos match, where you had Gran Guerrero and Valiente versus Hechicero and Terrible. So your winners were Gran Guerrero and Valiente. As I said before, Hechicero and Valiente, they do have a long-standing beef, but at the end of this match, it does sound like we're going to be seeing Valiente and Hechicero Máscara para Máscara at the 91st anniversary show in September. So very excited. Did you have anything for that?
This is when I had my I think Valiente and Hechicero have beef with each other. This is what because Valiente, like, when they announced Hechicero coming in, he like ran at him and they just started
and they just
beating each other on the runway. And I was like, oh, okay, obviously someone has beef with somebody else. So I was like, okay, that makes so much more sense now, why it's been so brutal. I love Terrible. He's great. Oh my gosh, he is great.
He's such a great character.
He is so with
his hair and the way he flips, and then his eyes. What that thing he does with his eyes?
Yes,
good.
he and
So good.
Hechicero were, man, they were just. I know I
Yeah.
use the word a lot, but they were brutal.
Yes. Yeah, they
And I
were.
said in my notes, I put, this is probably the ugliest and the best way lucha match that I have ever watched.
Yes.
It was ugly,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
There was no love lost between these folks.
No.
And I
You
loved
had some aerial moves, but they weren't beautiful aerial moves. They were just
No.
like, I'm gonna hurt you with this
I'm
aerial
gonna
move.
destroy you
Yeah,
with
I'm gonna
this. I
destroy
mean,
you with this
it
aerial move.
wasn't, it
Yeah.
was funny because, like I say, usually the men's matches are so beautiful. They're like choreographed. And this one was literally like, I'm going to do everything I know I can do to destroy you. That's like,
Yep.
that's it. Nothing else. I just want to destroy you or humiliate you or, because that's, Terrible was going for the masks.
Yes. Yep.
But that roll up at the end of the second card by Valiente with Terrible.
Yep.
That whole thing where he like rolled up Terrible and got the count, the pin, and then he did the submission on Hechicero. Right.
Yes.
I mean, immediately right after.
Yeah.
It was just like, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
What? I mean, he was like, and then he just like stood there and he's like, oh, you're next. And then he ran and he did it. And I was like, holy crap. And that was the chaos and the speed of this match. It was just constantly go, 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 go. And I was just like, God, I was so tired after it was over. I was so exhausted.
But it was a true definition of saving the best for last in this show, at least.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree.
Because then to finish the show, we had, and this was the full last hour of the Tuesday night show. We had the Torneo Amazona for the Women's Tag Team Championship for CMLL. So just a quick bit of history. This championship was held by Stephanie Becker and Xerxes. When Stephanie left CMLL, this was one of the belts that she had to drop. And instead of having Xerxes hold on to it and then just kind of teaming up with someone, they said, hey, we're going to have a tournament to find our new women's champion, tag team champions. So that's what this is. And it was in 3 parts. So, and I'm kind of noticing a theme for CMLL Lucha Libre that when they do torneos, that this is kind of like the thing that happens, and I like it.
I do too.
So your first part is you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You had 8 Amazonas that come into the ring. And in essence, they have again a Royal Rumble, just to use American terminology. They have themselves a Royal Rumble, and this Royal Rumble is to figure out who wrestles who in round 2. So the first person that gets tossed out and the second person that gets tossed out, they wrestle against each other in the second round. Third person, the fourth person that got tossed out, they wrestle against each other, etc., etc., etc. The only caveat to this was that because these are all tag teams, the women that came out, the Amazonas that came out, were all representatives of their tag team. So coming out for this for the first torneo, we had Nautica, Valkyria, Olympia, Metallica, Kira, La Catalina, Xerxes, and Jubia. Xerxes got tossed out first, followed by Nautica. Xerxes got tossed out first, followed by Olympia. Then you had Nautica get tossed out, followed by La Catalina. And then you had Kira tossed out, Valkyria was tossed out, and then Kira was tossed out, which then left Jubia and Metallica. So then going into your second round, you had the teams of Xerxes and Persephone, Will's favorite, against Olympia and Hera, which, another quick side note, Olympia and Hera are Valiente's daughters.
Oh, that's cool. That is so neat.
Yep.
I love that. I love that generational sort of. That's so cool.
Right.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
So I'm just gonna go through these these team ups and who won really quick, and then we'll talk about the second round altogether. Was there anything in specific you wanted to say about the first round Rumble?
I didn't really know what was going on.
Okay, fair.
I didn't, you know, because I don't speak Spanish. Everyone, just so you know, I know, big surprise. But so I didn't know that this was a tag team elimination type thing. Yep. I was just like, "Oh, what's this?" Well, I didn't really care because it was, you know, women beating the crap out of each other and tossing each other out of the ring, so I was okay with that. Because anytime, like I said, anytime that you can, you know, sort of spotlight your women, please do. And so I was like, once I saw that once they got out of the ring, they were eliminated. I was like, oh, okay. I see where we're going with it now. So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm here. It was cool. I think it's, you know, we've seen it before in like American wrestling. They do it too. And, you know, the idea of the last man standing is, you know, whatever. But that was neat. It was neat to watch. What was neat to watch about it was the team ups.
Yes.
You saw people teaming up to get rid of other people and then turning on each other. And then it was like, so that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed watching that elimination round for sure.
Yeah. So in our second round, we had Xerxes and Persephone versus Olympia and Hera. Nautica and Stanley versus La Catalina and Princesa Sugui. Valkyria and Dark Sylvester versus Kira and Scotty. And Juvia and Tessa Blanchard versus Metallica and Reina Isis. So you had Xerxes and Persephone were the winners in the first match. You had La Catalina and Princesa Sugi winners for the second match. You had Kira and Scotty winners in the third match. And in the last match, you had Juvia and Tessa Blanchard were your winners of this last match for the second round. Papa.
Yes. Sorry, I was looking over my notes.
That's okay. I will say of all the teams, I feel like Kira and Scotty had the biggest pop with the audience.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought so too. They were good. I really liked Kira and Scotty.
Oh yeah.
I was a little surprised that they did not win their. I don't think you've gotten there yet, but
but that's okay. That's okay.
But I was kind of surprised at that outcome a little bit, to be honest. So I was not surprised with the other one, but I was very surprised with that second group. Because I love me some Persephone. I think she's so amazing. But I thought that it was so funny because all of in that first grouping with Hera, Olympia, and I thought it was so funny. It was like Greeks fighting each other.
Yes,
which was great. Something I did notice, and I kind of caught it a couple of times, is they really do love those like inner thigh shots.
They do.
I've noticed. They did that a lot. That was
to the inner thigh.
They would like hold open the legs and then they would come running and like hit them on the inner thigh there. I was like, wow, that is a very popular move. Yeah. I mean, I get it, but I was like, wow.
And that's not a move you see a lot in American wrestling, even for males.
Yeah.
You don't see that type of
because I think it tends to get a little close to being a disqualifier.
Yep.
Because I was going for the inner thigh, but I really got him in the junk.
Right.
I thought that the first match was like ugly brutal. It was awesome.
Yep.
The second one was prettier.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's just because of who was wrestling or what, but it was prettier.
Yep.
I thought that I was a little surprised by that one too. I was a little surprised that La Catalina and her partner Princesa Sugit, is that what it is?
Yep. Sugit. Mm-hmm.
I was surprised that they won that match.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
Yep.
thought that Nautica insanely. I thought they out wrestled them, but
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, okay, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And then, of course, the Kira Skadi, Valkyria, and Dark Silhouette was good. Skadi is such a powerhouse. My God.
She is.
And she blew through Valkyria. I was like, oh my gosh, you are a good heavens, girl.
Yeah.
There was so much, and I thought this was probably the more brutal match out of all of them.
Yes.
And then the Metallica Reina Isis Juvia, is it Juvia and Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah.
That was a fun one because that was right out the gate. That was another one that was like,
yeah, they just met on the ramp.
To the ring. It was like, I was like, okay. I was like, obviously these women want blood. And of course, Juvia is a powerhouse too and doesn't play.
Yes,
man, there are so many good female wrestlers in the sort of CMLL world.
Yes,
I will say that the referee was a little slow on his count.
He was
in that last match.
He was a lot slow.
And then he sped up later.
Like 1.
Yeah, he was like
2.
1. And I was like, what are you doing, dude? I was like, but yeah, I thought that, all 4 of those matches were or 3, was it 4 or 3? Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, 1, 2, 4. All 4 of the matches were so unique and it's neat to see the uniqueness in the women's styles.
Yes.
And so I really enjoyed these. These were super fun.
Yeah.
I thought some of them were really short. I think like that first match was pretty short.
Yeah.
Between Persephone, Hera, all those, it felt short. I don't know if it actually was short or not, but it felt short.
It did. So then going into the third round, you had Xerxes and Persephone versus La Catalina and Princesa Sugui. And then the second match was Kira and Scotty versus Juvia and Tessa Blanchard. The first match, Xerxes and Persephone won. And in the second match, Juvia and Tessa Blanchard won. So next week, is going to be the final match between Persephone and Juvia. Persephone and Xerxes versus Tessa Blanchard and Juvia for the CMLL Women's Tag Team Championship. So and they're your finalists right there. Any final words on the women's tournament and the TV show?
The first one, Persephone and them, that match went exactly the way I hoped it would.
Yep.
The second one did not go the way I wanted it to.
Oh, okay.
I really thought Kira and Scotty were going to win that match. I really did. I really did. And so I was like rooting for them and they didn't. And that doesn't, I'm not by any means am I negating, Juvia and Tessa because they were fantastic.
Yep.
Because that match got brutal. That one did. That one got
really brutal. When Scotty does that, I don't know what it's called, but she whoever she's lining up is in the corner, like down on the ground, and she gets that head of steam and she does that half summer flip, like missile whatever into that's oof.
See, I thought the outcome of that one surprised me.
Right.
I wasn't disappointed. It just wasn't the way I wanted it to go.
Right.
But the first match went exactly the way I was hoping it would with Persephone, because I just love Persephone.
Yeah.
But I mean, she was out there biting bitches, and I was like,
Yeah.
"You go, girl! You go!" I was loving it. So overall, I'm excited to see these two teams fight each other next week. I really am. I'm really super excited about it.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for the finals to see how it pans out. And it's gonna be a good match.
Yeah,
because these Amazonas are really good.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
every one of them.
And that brings us to the end. That was the shows that we watched. I'm gonna go back and watch the Guadalajara show with a beer in hand and no note taking. So throw that out the window.
I know, right?
I
love the Guadalajara show. I need to go watch it too. I really do like the Guadalajara show.
It is a lot of fun, but like you said, it is definitely the show to like sit back and just drink a beer and watch.
Yeah, it is.
Because that's just the feel.
Yeah, it is.
You have of it. So
yeah.
So next Tuesday we have the women's tag team championship for CMLL. I believe this upcoming Friday is when one Maxwell Jacob Freeman, or MJF, if you're nasty, comes down to face Templario in Mexico City on Friday night. So that should be a lot of fun. And yeah, you got any final thoughts there, Papa Oso?
If you've never watched them, watch them. This is CMLL or AAA, whichever.
Whatever.
If Guadalajara, all of them. If you've never watched the Lucha Libre wrestling, you really should give it a shot, because you don't even have to understand the language. You really don't. I don't understand the language. Every once in a while I'll pick up a word I know, but for the most part, I just watch the wrestling, and I could mute it and watch, and it's just so good. Just the showmanship, the tradition, the theatricality of it, the beauty of it is just, you'll get hooked. I'm telling you will get hooked. And then you'll go out and buy yourself a lucha mask like I did.
Yep, that's right. All right, so that's going to be a wrap for Los Lobos de Lucha Libre. I am El Buntador, número dos, and for my partner, Papa Oso, I would like to wish you all a happy week and remind you that you're biconic. I'm biconic. We are all biconic. Let's love one another, and we will see you on the next one. Have a great night, everybody.